good viewers of Dr. BMS from wherever you are watching me today. I hope you're well. Today I would like to talk about something that expounds on my previous video. I talked about mama's boy, that single mother families sometimes can make parenting decisions that make their children to be what we call mama's boy. And some of them end up with problems of abusing drugs. They end up in addiction rehabilitation. And it was in this context that I was advising mothers on some of the things that they should do and some that they should not do as they bring up their children as single mothers. So I would like to talk a little bit more about this mama's boy concept. Today specifically, I would like us to ask ourselves, these people we call mama's boys, are they happy being mama's boys eternally? Is it a station in life that when you get in, you're comfortable and you're happy to be there forever? Or does it reach a point in time when they wish they would be out of that station? They will be different, but maybe it's not possible. Before we go deeper into it, we'd like to ask ourselves, what really is a mama's boy? So let us remind ourselves what I said in the previous video. A mama's boy, we described him as a boy, a male, who is doted on by their mother's favorite. And they have grown in that environment of being the favorite boy, the favorite son, the favorite child. And it has gotten into their system. They accept it and they live with that position. They even become entitled, like they want it to some extent, up to some point. So today we are asking, do they want it forever? So a mama's boy, for definition, is a male child who's been brought up by a doting mother, and usually it's in a single mother family environment, more than where we have both mother and father. But sometimes we have the father, only that the father may not be present. They may be physically there, but they are not involved. The family is a bit dysfunctional. The couple, mother, father, they're not parenting together and they're not doing it well. And so the mother takes the lion's share of the parenting, the father is absent, and the mother sometimes will overlove or dote on their sons, maybe as a way of compensating for the absence of the father. But in the process, then they make a child who is overloved, over-provided for. They are permissive. They always say yes to whatever this child wants. They want to please the child. They set no rules. The issue of discipline in that home is very low. And so this boy grows up entitled, always knowing that mother will say yes, will give them what they want. They lack ambition because you don't make ambition when everything is already available. They do not make an effort, so they are fairly lazy or not hardworking. And usually these boys find it difficult to be independent because they are so dependent on their mother and everything revolves around their mother. They do not find it easy to leave home and go out, for example, start their own families and be independent people. They struggle in school, or they may have to change schools several times because in school they are indisciplined, they are not hardworking, they do not obey rules, they expect everything to go their way because that's how they have been brought up, they have been socialized. And when they get into a family situation, like they're starting a family of their own, they are married, then they are usually weak fathers who depend on their mothers for every decision. So their wives see that mother-in-law is very dominant, and that brings conflict. Usually these families may not do very well. They may even break. So generally that is a broad definition of mama's boy. We see them in the rehabilitation center sometimes, and that's what I talked about in the previous video. And we identify that this is a problem that started early in parenting, and now they are adult. We do what we can to reverse with mixed results. Sometimes some of them can learn afresh to be independent, to be their own persons, and shake away the overarching shadow of their mother. Some of them struggle forever and never really get their footing. So today's question is that these boys, these men who have been brought up in families where their mother is dominant but very permissive, and they have now been allowed to grow skills, to be independent, to be their own person, are they happy being in that situation? Are they happy always having to refer to their mother for everything that they need to do? The answer generally from our experience dealing with these people whenever they come with problems like addiction to drugs, marital problems for counseling, or we meet them in other situations where they have had problems, even health problems, when we relate the genesis of this problem, you find it has a rooting in parenting. In all these scenarios, we find that the consistent answer is no. They are not happy being mama's boys forever. You are happy when you are young. Your mother is good. She gives you everything. She never punishes you. She never says no. She's always worried where you are. She's carrying you, pampering you, calling you good names. But beyond childhood, it starts to be a challenge. It starts to be a challenge because the human spirit, the way it was created by God, humans were created to grow, be independent, and have an impact of their own in this world. And so if you find as a human, you are forever under the shadow of someone else, then it starts to gnaw on your spirit, to eat away on your spirit. You feel you are deficient. You feel you are not person enough, human enough. And that yearning to be your own for self-expression starts to grow. So the conflict then comes and brings shame. Most of these mama's boys are people who in later life are not happy that they have to defer to their mother and they cannot do anything without having to refer to their mother. They want to be their own person, but sometimes they don't know how. In the process also, they have challenges of maintaining respect in their social circles. Your friends don't quite respect you. In fact, they may use names that are derogatory, like your mama's boy, or everything you do, you have to refer to your mother. Your spouse, your girlfriend may actually disrespect you, and even the relationship may flounder because they see that you are not your own person, and in your relationship, their mother-in-law or potential mother-in-law is domineering and driving everything from the background. They are not happy about that. And so these are challenges that these mama's boys experience later in life and they don't like. They also realize that they have deficient life skills because you've never grown to have your own skills, to develop into your own person. Your mother is overprotective, overproviding, permissive, and so everything was there for you. You never learned even how to, let me say, wash yourself. And so you are deficient when you go out in the outer world where your mother is not there. Maybe she's too old now to do what she used to do, or she's dead and you are alone, but you don't know how to do anything. You only know how to ask mom to do everything for you. So the deficiency in life skills starts to gnaw on their spirit and to reduce their self-confidence. So they are not happy. There are also people who responsibility taking is low. They've never learned, just like life skills, they have never learned to do anything. They have never been led by their mothers to do anything. So they are not responsible as such. They don't know how to do whatever they want. And so in social interactions, in family situation, at the workplace, people find them deficient. They are not dependable. They are not people who you want to be in teams with. So people ridicule you, people isolate you, and sometimes this becomes very stressful and frustrating with catastrophic effects on the mental health of these subjects. They in turn then develop stress, anxiety, and they get frustrated about things that other people would navigate, challenges that other people would navigate easily. They get stressed and frustrated about them, especially in later life, because they do not know how to tackle it without the input of their mother, who may not be there or may be very old now and unable to give that input that they are used to. So as a coping mechanism for these stresses and the frustrations they get, some of them can start indulging in drugs of abuse. It's a common outcome, and this is why I started by saying that we see them a lot in the rehabilitation center. So they are coping with stressful situations that they find themselves in, but the genesis started because they were brought up in a way where they were not made to be their own man, to be independent adults. Some of them sink into depression. Some of them can even start having antisocial personality, engage in crime. Some of them can externalize that frustration, anger, by wanting to have domineering personalities towards women. They are abusive. They can engage even in crime that is geared towards women because they start to hate that situation. They feel like they are in a bondage, but they cannot get themselves out. And in that search for answers, they may do things that are antisocial and some of them against the law. So when we look at this scenario, we can conclude by saying mama's boy is not a good station. It may start off as a good station. You are happy, you are being pampered, but later on, it's not going to be a good place and it's going to be a burden. For you mothers out there, single mothers or mothers who are raising children as if you are alone, please create healthy boundaries. Do not overlove, overprovide, be very permissive, overprotective. Let your child grow in a balanced way where they can learn to be their own persons. They can learn to be balanced with your guidance, because these skills will be important for them when you are no longer there, to be able to guide them and to protect them like you think you should be doing at the moment. See you in the next video, and please remember to subscribe to this channel, Dr. BMS, and share this video with a person, a family, a mother who may be needing this information for them to make better decisions about parenting their children. Cheers.